This is a guide for the binary homework. Let's start off with talking about the onload event. If you want to write something to the document on the onload event, you would use the window.onload event. And let's go ahead and write a small example. As you can see here, I have a browser window and an editor window side by side. On the right hand side, I have the document loaded into the browser that I have in the editor on the left hand side. So after we write some code, we'll simply reload the page on the browser and we should see the changes. So let's go ahead and start off by indicating that we're going to write some script using the script tag. Then we will simply access the window.onload event. Go ahead and write some more. So autocomplete kicks in. And to it, we're going to assign the function called say hello that we will write below it. Here we will write say hello. We will then write the body of the function, which will simply be document.write. Within it, we will say hello using a string, and we will write that hello within h1 tags, as you can see there. Let me add the hello. Go ahead and save it, and I'm going to reload the document here, and if all goes well, we should see hello. And as you can see there, I've assigned a function to the onload event. Oftentimes when order is hard to predict, this is a good way to hook onto a function that you want to run before anything else. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create shapes using CSS. We will place that CSS inside of a div tag. So inside of here, I'm going to enter a style attribute, and within it, I'm going to set some properties. Let's go ahead and start that. The first one that we will enter will be the left property, which is really the X position. We will enter that at 10 pixels. I will then do the top property, which will be the Y position. Next, I'm going to specify that these positions will be absolute. And I'm going to enter that value. Next, I'm going to specify the width. And I'm going to enter 100 pixels for that. Then the height, enter 100 again. And finally, I'm going to enter the background color. And in this case, I'm going to enter silver. Now let's go ahead and save that, reload the page, and as you can see there, we've created a silver square. If we were to change the color here to red and reloaded the document, you can see there that it is now red. Now the next thing we're going to do is it'll get pretty tedious to repeat all of these properties on every single div. So the ones that are common, I'm going to pull out. So let's go ahead and pull out position, width, height, and background. And we're going to create a new style tag that will set those properties for all of the divs. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the type because that is the default. I'm then going to enter div and enter those properties or those styles. I'm going to go ahead and save here. If we reload the document, you can see that nothing has changed, and we can set silver as the default. Now after we've done that, then creating new shapes is simpler. You have to repeat less of those properties. Now we can move and we could add another shape in this case. Let's go ahead and make or place the first square at 120 so that we can stack them, as you can see in this case. In the homework, you will be creating a grid using CSS shapes. Let me go ahead and show you a picture of that. The grid will be 6 by 4, 6 horizontally, 4 vertically, and you will compose it from CSS shapes. Let me go ahead and pull in the run document so we could take a look at a sample column of that grid. I'm going to pull it in both to the editor and to the browser. And I'm going to go ahead and show you or give you the first column. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that. I've written it beforehand, and here it is, the way I've written it. And as you can see there, note my naming convention that I am setting IDs so I can later manipulate them programmatically. And note that I am doing a certain pattern. I'm following a certain pattern. This corresponds to the very first column within the grid. This is the position for hours. So I make a note here within the naming convention of hour, column 1, and then I refer to the positions. So this bottom one here corresponds to the first line, so that is hour, column 1, position 1, and so on through the rest of the positions. Note that we can't see the top two because the visibility of them has been hidden. So if I close this image here, let me reduce the size of my editor window and reload this page within, let me go ahead and save it, and reload it within the browser, you can see there that we only see the first two of those positions on the grid and not the last two, and that is because their visibility has been set as hidden. And within a binary clock, you do not need those, as that will be the hour column, and you only need the first two. The next question that might be going through your mind is, well, great, I've already put them onto the page. How do I turn them on and off? And we'll do a little example on how to do that. Here I'll write myself a script tag, and then within it I'm going to get a handle on the first position, and then I'm going to turn it on. So I'm going to use document get element by ID. I'm going to specify the ID, which is given here, and then I am going to use style dot background color, and then I'm going to set that color to be red in this case. Remember that we started out with silver, and I'm going to change it to red. So I'm going to go ahead and save it, reload the page, and as you can see there, the color has been set to red. Obviously, there's a lot more logic you need to write in order to do it properly, but this is simply an example as to how to turn it on. Now, when it comes to the logic as to how to turn your squares on and off, that's where the functions in the exercise.js come in. And if you look at the exercise.binary function that you need to implement, that will return, given a time and a column. Think about, again, the columns going across horizontally within your binary clock. You need to return, given a time and a column, what the positions are for each of those blocks. So for example, if you called that function from this place here with column 1 and you gave it a time, that might return a response. That would contain an object with the positions that you needed to turn on and off. So I'm going to comment this out since we're not implementing that logic here, but I will create a fake response object, and next to that you could see that you could do the type of checks that we did in the exercise in class. So for example, you could do something like if position 1, well, response dot position 1 was equal to on, then you could turn this off. Turn this on. If not, you would turn it off. And the off could be the else, and this could be setting it to silver, right? So we could set this here to silver. And so in this case, if we reload the page, it will remain the same. If we were to turn this off, then this should go back to silver. So there's some general guidance for the homework. So with that, let me say goodbye and happy coding.